want to do a little intro to some videos that's about to come out on our channel, and these videos are going to retro back to in April, and they're going to be on my boat project. So starting in April, May, June, during those time frames, mostly during the middle of April on into May, I had done a significant amount of work to my Sea Ray 240 Sundancer. Now, in previous videos, I had bought the boat. It was a non-running boat here in the Philippines. It was kind of like an abandoned condition. Those boats are hard to come by here in the Philippines, so even if it was in abandoned condition, it was still worth something in this country. And I brought the non-running boat here. I removed the 5.7 liter Mercruiser engine out of it, outdrive everything. I had imported in a Mercruiser 4-cylinder turbocharged diesel and outdrive and all to put back in it. I worked on some transom work that I didn't show on the video. I did numerous other repairs and upgrades to the boat. I had to do an extensive amount of work trying to get all this old gas out of the tank that was bad when I got the boat. And apparently the people that I bought it from have been running this boat off of jerry cans, which you ain't gonna get very far on that, but it was kind of rigged up and all. The diesel, I had bought that Mercruiser diesel secondhand, and those engines, if they're not maintained right and the wastegate sticks on the turbocharger, it'll overboost the motor and damage piston number 3 first. Number 2 will catch the next amount of heat from overboosting than number 1. Number 4 cylinder will catch the least. After getting the boat all going and converted over to the Mercruiser diesel, it lacked power, and I bought a diesel compression gauge set and checked it, and the boat, sure enough, number 3, hardly no compression. Number 2, a little more but still pretty bad. Number 1, a little more but still not that good. Number 4, pretty much full compression. It was basically running off 2 cylinders, the number 1 cylinder and number 4 cylinder, and the other 2 were just too low to even detonate the diesel. And on top of that, the timing belt was also 2 teeth off, which that is a interference engine. It could have possibly bent some valves, but don't know yet. But when I put the timing back in the right position, the power picked up just a little bit, but it was still low on compression. So no matter what, the head's got to come off. The pistons are most likely going to have to be changed. That was common on that Mercruiser diesel. It's a very hopped up engine for a 4-cylinder diesel. It's a high revving 4-cylinder diesel. They've now came up with an update to an update on the pistons, and they've just got these just totally awesome pistons that are available now. But the problem is those pistons are about $500 a piece. That's without rings. That's not a rod. That's a naked piston only. Naked piston only with no rings. And you can't just replace one. You got to change them as a whole set. So it's going to take a little bit of time of sourcing the parts. Of course, I'm in the Philippines. That stuff's not available or even sold in this country. I'll have to have it imported. This means the boat's going to be down for a while. And I wanted to use the boat, but I really want the diesel in there. So I was at a conundrum. But meanwhile, I had the 5.7 liter that I took out of it, and I decided to give that motor a look because I had video of the boat within just weeks before I bought it of some Filipino guys up on Lake Calarai with a jerry can, a gas can over to one side, hauling butt across Lake Calarai, and it was turning a pretty good clip, and it sounded like it was running great. I had, video of them flying across the water from inside the boat. So I decided that I was going to give that motor a little bit of attention and check it all out. So that's where we're going to pick up on these videos, is right here, and we're going to move forward from there. And somewhere along the line in these videos, I'm going to stop and give more commentary about what the current situation is each time. So let's get started on this video. I hope you enjoy this series of videos and all. Checking out this old 5.7 liter Mercruiser, the things I ran across, the things I've done, the things I'm gonna run across with on the diesel as I pursue that avenue and all. And I just hope this is something that you can enjoy. If it's not really your thing, kind of, you know, support us if you could, you know, turn it on, walk away, go do something and just let it play. And if you do enjoy it, you know, give us a thumbs up, man, and tell me, you know, hey, I really like this content. I'm gonna blend this in some right now to our vlog while we get things ramped back up here, working on our other projects as well. And this is part of our life here at the beach. It's boats, so there's always gonna be a lot of boat videos coming along of some sort or another. I will give a little bit of a spoiler that I am ramping up to build a full-fledged catamaran here at the place. So as I wrap up some other projects here, my future endeavor is building, if nothing spoils it for me, a full-fledged catamaran boat here. I'm going to use a lot of native styling, but a little bit more upgraded in quality of materials and all. So I hope that's something that you'll be interested in the future on down the road also. And another spoiler is there's going to be a series of videos for something I'm doing right now as we speak, of customizing even more of my little bonka boat that I chopped off and I put the outboard on it and all. Well, it's going through a major transformation right now, and that's also going to be a series of videos that I really think you're going to like too. My past videos on that bonka boat, still one or several of those videos still get a lot of views to this day. One of those videos I think is approaching towards 600,000 views or so, so that's pretty cool. All right, I'm gonna get busy on this. I hope that you enjoy this content. Let me know if you do, and let's go back in time and let's drift back to April and see where all this began. So this is the old motor right here out of this Sea Ray. This is a 5.7 liter Mercruiser, or in actuality, it's a 5.7 liter Chevy 350. So I bought this boat non-running, and there's some old videos of us back when we went up to Lake Caliraya on a reservoir and here in the Philippines, and we picked this up and brought it down the mountains, put it on a ro-ro, got caught in a typhoon, everything else, what a journey. And brought it back here to Panay Island, what a journey. They couldn't start the boat up when I bought it, which I was buying it as a non-running anyway, but curious, you know, if it did run, and he said yes, it runs, but that it stopped running. And he had video just currently, and you can see the video currently of the boat out on Lake Caliraya hauling butt. Woo, sounded pretty good. Gonna sell it as it is, no need to try to crank it. You said you didn't want one running anyway, fair enough. So I bought the boat and I got it here, and I found the issues with the boat, which didn't matter because I'm changing the drivetrain out anyway. But apparently a rat had got in through an empty speaker hole on the side of the hull, and back on the engine there, it had chewed right in here in this area around the distributor. It had chewed up the wiring harness here. The harness had melted and all fused together, and there was an electronic ignition module here. There was all the wiring going to the distributor here, and the pigtail wiring harness of the engine was all destroyed. And I said, well, you know what, I bet this motor would run if it had where the electronic ignition and all could work again. See, it has a coil pack down here, it had a module here, it had the distributor here. Now, back home in the States, I had a lot of these 5.7 Mercruisers, and I got a lot of parts sitting there. So when I went back home to the States, I brought two things. I brought another variant of this distributor, which is very similar, but the setup for the module and coil is just a little different. And I brought a marine distributor, and that coil is in the top right here, and that ignition module is these wires here. It's in the bottom right here, and this is your cap. So all of those components are condensed in one. Now, being that this is a carbureted engine, there is a vacuum advance on here. So here you got your coil here that's in the top of this. You have the ignition module here, which is in the bottom of this, and then you got all your cap and everything, which right here. So these here, the downfall on this model that GM had is that module right there would get hot. Yeah, it would get hot. So they moved it outside right here, and it actually had some little cooling fins on it, some heat sinks that would remove some of the heat from the module. So this was an updated design, but it also had a lot of external components that were exposed out to the elements as well, which posed their own problem. And as you see, this is a boat around salt, and this coil here is not really marinized properly, and you can see it really did a number on that coil. So once again, leading me to something more sealed like this. What good hobbyist does not enjoy having a good old classic Chevy 350 sitting around, right? You might be a redneck if, yeah, you might be a redneck if. And I've cut my teeth on these motors. I know them inside out, like so many other people do. And I thought it would be interesting just to crank this motor up. I've got it strapped here on a cart. Now I want to bring some other things to your attention. When I got this boat, turned out, you know, the fuel tank was pretty funky inside. Well, the video I have of this boat running out on the water, they had a fuel can, kind of like I got sitting here, setting up over there, and a hose going down inside, and they were driving like with two fuel cans over here to the side. I want to put this motor back together. I really do. Hub right here, the adapter hub that got ate up by salt water, and I'll explain that real quick. The transom plate, it was corroded on the inside and ate through from the salt water, and it was weeping water down and dripping it right on this part right here, and it was just getting ate up by salt water inside. And they had tried to take globs of marine epoxy and push in a hole that was just a little bit insane too. So everything on here was corroded. You couldn't get the bolts out of the mounts. We ended up having to break them. That's in an old video of ours too. Ended up having to break the bell housing to get the motor out because the salt has seized these two mounting bolts down in there. So I have bought a new bell housing now. Bought a second-hand one. It looked good as brand new. That's coming from the US right now. I bought this on Amazon. This whole big plate's like a big triangle in here. This hub, it's rubber in there. It absorbs vibration and shock and torquing. And I've got this part brand new. So that's the two things that need it right there from the salt corrosion. And I have the outdrive on it right there. And it's all still in pretty good shape. I have all the plumbing there. I have all the risers, everything. They're really nice ones. And in fact, somebody put the extended risers on it, which makes it harder for like a wave to hit into the back of the boat and the water push back through the exhaust and up over the risers and get down into your motor. I pre-soaked this motor about a month ago with a little bit of diesel down into the cylinders and all because it had been sitting. I did turn it over a little bit gently, and it was not stuck or nothing like that. I'm gonna slowly turn it over with the starter and shoot anything out. I have the old spark plugs. I have a brand new set of spark plugs, and I'm gonna put a little bit of fuel down the carburetor and just hear if it'll fire off. and then from there we'll move on forward. But let's see if we can get this thing to crank. My face right there. Definitely needs carburetor work. Something else I shipped from the US before. So I had a brand new Marine Quadrijet, that a boat I bought from a cousin. He spent the money and bought this carburetor brand new, and he never put it on the boat. And when I bought the boat from him, it came with the carburetor, and there it is right there, brand new. And that's exactly what this motor needs. It looks like it too. Let's do a comparison here, Cat. It looks dead on like it. I mean, dude, it looks. Yep. It's a new vacuum line right there. I think it's a 15. I pull these two front bolts out and check them out here. Put it up there close so you can see. It's what happens when this stuff over here, and you just get a lot of bush fixes. And so apparently something happened and it needed new bolts in the carburetor before. I don't know what would cause that, but they cut and welded and made new long bolts, or shortened some or something. but for some reason the front two carburetor bolts had to be whacked and welded. Who knows? Who knows? But there's the old one off. So when I bought this boat with this 5.7 gas motor in it, they had apparently been messing with it, and I seen that they had bought a carburetor kit before. I found this box there amongst the stuff. Some seals and stuff were still inside the kit, but I'm kind of laughing because there is not just the one gasket still on the motor here. You see there's still one on here, but then a second gasket and a third gasket underneath the carburetor. 3 layers of gaskets underneath the base of the carburetor. Oh my goodness, man. And there, you know, some of these for different models and stuff too. I can tell where they nipped this one out. Look at that hole there. It's not even out round properly, you see, where they got gaskets stacked. Wow. So yeah, that's interesting. Yeah, they didn't know which one or what, because I'm sure they probably don't see too many Chevy 350 and Quadrajets in the Philippines, and you could tell they did not have any familiarity with these setups at all. And yeah, mayhem. So the next question is if it's the right gasket that came with the new carburetor. Well, this one's not the right gasket, because you see how this plenum here is divided. And so it would need to be sealed right there. They didn't divide it for no reason. And this one's open in the middle. So it's definitely, out of the 3 gaskets, it's not right. One of the gaskets is the right one, but with them stacked, it couldn't seal here on the plenum. And so that wasn't correct either. So here's the one that came with the new marine carburetor. And we'll just set it down in there and look at that. Look at that. It has the divider for the plenum right there. Yeah, so there she is. So at least it came with the correct one. And I don't have any replacement bolts for this, and we'll go ahead and put these back in for now. But I am going to put in my order on Amazon, get a measurement on these bolts, or order the original OEM bolts to put back in it. So apparently when they stacked 3 gaskets on the bottom of the carburetor, and one of those gaskets being really thick, I mean, it's probably 3/16 of an inch by itself. Well, apparently then the bolts were not long enough in the carburetor because of their big massive stack of gaskets. So that's why they chopped the bolts and welded them out longer. And now, with all of those inappropriate stack of gaskets removed and the right one there, now the bolts are too long from their rigging, and I'm gonna have to stack some washers, and not this many. I'm just finding some that'll fit. But I'm gonna have to stack some washers temporarily on it until I can find a proper bolt, which this is gonna be SAE thread, not metric, and that might be a trick to find here. So I'll probably have to order these bolts online, and for a temporary measure, I'm gonna stack a variety of washers and shim the top of the bolt.